Good evening. This is John, Elite Gamers United. Hang on, let me turn this off. Okay, I know it's been about a week or so. I've just been very irritated. I had to rebuild the whole timeline in Premiere for this video. But today we are going to be talking about Final Fantasy IX, and is it the best of the 32-bit Final Fantasies? So, before we start, I am going to give some shout-outs right now. Retro Sega Arian, Keon Moore, and G Dilla. Thank you for subscribing. You guys are gentlemen. Thank you again. So, as you know, I'm going to hang out down over here. Trivia, gameplay, info. So, let's start. Now, Final Fantasy IX came out in 2000. Was the last 32-bit Final Fantasy, and it went back to the 16-bit inspirations and the style of 4 characters, medieval, sword, sorcery, magic, etc. And I'll tell you, it did a phenomenal job. With Final Fantasy 7 and 8 being steampunk, going back to the roots, I think was a wonderful, proper send-off for the franchise in that generation. So, let's ask ourselves, again, is it the best, and why? So, the story. This game has a absolutely wonderful story, full of witty, clever dialogue, humorous situations and moments, very well developed, fleshed out characters, layer upon layer of depth and themes. It's not just traditional good versus evil. The big theme of this game is what gives us the right to play creator or to play God, and what makes us who we are. What gives us our personality? What makes us our own individual being? Those are the questions that this game asks and makes you think. It's a wonderful story with very deep meaning, with a lot of moral conundrums and a lot of gray area, like you gotta look at it from both sides. It's an absolutely wonderful, thought-provoking game, and I will say, I'll take the story to Final Fantasy IX over 7 and 8 any day of the week. So, let us get to what makes this game. The visuals. As you know, Final Fantasy 7 and 8 were benchmark benchmark games and benchmark RPGs for pretty much not just the PlayStation, but for gaming in general. With each installment from 7 to 8 to 9, the visuals got cleaner, crisper, the proportions changed, the texture work got better and better, the character models got better. Despite Final Fantasy IX going back to a more little SWAT type character style, similar to, from the 16-bit and 8-bit iterations, the game has some wonderful character models. Beautiful artwork, beautiful architecture, very well animated characters and enemies, vibrant, beautiful screen-filling spells and eidolons / summons, call it what you want. It's a feast for the eyes. The pre-rendered backgrounds, the drawing, the artwork is stunning. This game has by far the cleanest of the pre-rendered backgrounds of the 3 games. I do think in its time it was a benchmark PlayStation game visually, and to this day I still consider it one of the best looking PlayStation 1 titles. Not just in terms of technical prowess and artistic marvel, but mechanical marvel. This game just blends everything together visually, and it's pulled off phenomenal. A great diverse cast of characters, absolutely unique, medieval styled, European inspired 14th, 15th, 16th century inspiration in the world. And the cutscenes, some of the cleanest full motion video, or in this case CG scenes, any game on the PS1 has had. So I definitely think this game is in the top 3 best looking PS1 titles. So, the visuals are great. How is the sound? So, Nobuo Uematsu, legend, composer, musician, an artist. You can even call him legendary. Of the 140 pieces and sound and tracks in this game, they are absolutely wonderful, beautifully orchestrated, just a pleasure to your ears. There are some tunes in this game that will bring a tear to your eye. There's a particular song which is one of the themes of the game, the theme of desire and love, memories of life. It's just a beautiful song. It's just a great individual piece. The classic Final Fantasy battle theme is here in all its glory. As with each iteration, it changes a little bit. The victory fanfare. I will say, the opening track is something different, and right from there you can tell you're in for somewhat of a high fantasy feel. The audio, the music, the composition, it's just Nobu being Nobu and putting his best foot forward as he always does, and blowing the fans away with such, he has a grip in his music that just grabs you, and it touches you in the heart, and it evokes so much emotion. Every single track is the variety, the high intensity, and action tunes to the somber, loving, melodic tracks. I'm choking on my words, trying to figure out how many ways to describe Nobu's powerful score in this game. I just can't say enough good about it, but I think this has one of the best soundtracks of any of the Final Fantasies that Nobu was a part of, in contention only with 7 and a handful of others. Nobu is literally, he's music personified, and his work will absolutely cement that into your ears and your brain. Nobu, bravo. So, visuals and sound, amazing, incredible. Can't say enough awesome stuff about it. How is the gameplay? The controls, standard Final Fantasy setup. The game does take a few liberties. The hand cursor or the here icon, for some reason it disappears after a couple seconds on screen, and you can bring it back by hitting one of the buttons on the controller. I found that irritating, but whatever, I guess it's for the immersion. There is a help button, the select button on the PS1 or 2 controller brings up the definition of the move or the ability or the item or whatever you have highlighted in your menus in the field or in the battle menus. So you'll always know what does what. Great addition, and it's a hit of a button. The gameplay itself is a standard turn-based JRPG, but don't fool yourself. It's just as fun as any other game of its style. The in-game mechanics, the abilities, the learning of special of moves, abilities, spells, and other additional criteria to enhance your characters are learned by equipping different weapons, different armor, accessories. By fighting in battle and gaining your own experience to level up, you also gain AP points, which in turn, what you have equipped, those points will go into the skill associated with it, and when you master it, you can equip it at any time within the limits of your power crystals, which I'll get to in a minute. So even though the abilities and the equipment system, it's not as complicated or complex as the junction system for Final Fantasy VIII. I dislike the junction system. I just thought it was stupid, but that's my opinion. This game keeps it simple and straightforward, but gives the complexity is in how you're going to customize and spec your characters. Because in reality, you cannot have them all. Every skill or ability that you learn, and spells included, you are assigned a power crystal number. If fire costs 6 power crystals and you have your characters limited to 18, 6 of your crystals will be gone for you to equip that spell or ability, buff, and the like. There are spells to learn, abilities, attacks. There are automatic usage skills. In this case, auto life, which is it's basically a free life. You die in battle, the character, if it has it equipped, will have life cast on him if he were to fall. So there's many ways to customize your characters. There's so many skills and abilities, and there's so many hidden items and side quests in this game. The one thing I like that this game added is a little exclamation or question mark icon above the character's head when you're exploring the field to let you know there is something you can check out. I think it's a wonderful addition because some things are just really hard to tell because of all the crap around, the resolution, looking back at it. So it's nice to know the game tells you, hey, if you're close enough, hey, there's something here, check it out. Going back to the power crystals, though, you have to manage them very carefully because there are some parts in the game where if you don't have enough power crystals and you don't want to sacrifice any, if you don't have the skill or ability that's going to help make your life easier, you're going to be sacrificing stat points because along with changing items, accessories, and equipment, your stat points fluctuate. So if you want to be able to learn move X, you may be sacrificing 10 attack points, 10 magic attack, 10 defense, 10 evade. Checks and balances. So this game, it gives you a lot of customization, and you'll still be able to keep characters within their class. Like Zidane is a thief. You'll be able to keep playing him as a thief, but you can also make him more of a powerhouse by letting him get enhancements to certain types of creatures. You can let him learn tanking abilities, cover abilities. Protect girls is one of them. There's tons of ways you can play your characters, and it's about finding what's right and what suits you. I can't say enough about how much I love this game. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's got such a great balance of simplistic, but customizable, and even, I don't like to use the word complex, but a more depth. So it's deep, yet accessible, and simple to understand. I think this game is a lot of fun. I do truly believe this is the best of the 32-bit Final Fantasies. 7 is epic and classic in its own right, but going back to the roots of what made Final Fantasy, 9 checks all the boxes. The style, the visuals, the artistic aspect, the music, the dialogue. It's such a well-written game too. Read every piece of dialogue. Explore every active time event, which I put in the trivia boxes. The game will inform you if there is an event going on off screen, which just fills in backstory and shows you what's going on while this character is here and these characters are there. You get to see from their perspective what's happening. They're usually pretty quick, nothing too crazy, but it's just more of a good thing. Pardon me. So, with all of this being said, at the end of the day, I will stand firm on my opinion that Final Fantasy IX is the absolute pinnacle of the 32-bit trilogy of Final Fantasies, and is probably the least talked about, best Final Fantasy in my opinion, and I think it's a game that deserves more credit than it gets. It gets credit on the down low, okay? But don't be fooled. You ask anybody who's played 9, I guarantee you they'll probably say, yes, this is the best. Not 7, not 10, not 6, 9. Anyway, I'm sorry it's been a few days. It's been a little over a week. I lost the timeline. I've been had a miserable past couple day or two, so I'm a little agitated. I do apologize. I do plan on getting more content out over the course of the week. I just want to say thank you guys for sticking in there and hanging in there for me for the video. I hope you all enjoy. I'm John. This is Elite Gamers United, and I will see you later in the week. And oh, I gotta say one last thing. This is how you record gameplay, okay? You know who you are, and you know I'm talking to you, okay? This is what you do. Cell phone streaming is not real streaming. Get a capture card and get the consoles for real, okay? Play the games for real. You know who you are. Have a good night.